Rolling. And audio is rolling.
Welcome to episode 73 of the Degenerates Clubhouse. And Mondo, I wanted to open a little bit differently than we normally do. Because, I mean, it's been such a chaotic few years. And right now we're in the pilot season of World War III Season 1.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, we do all the raunchy, like, sex stuff. And we talk about Florida Man. But what if we just open with something a little bit more peaceful, like tranquil, you know? And so if you will allow me, I would like to start this episode by reading a poem.
Okay.
And just add a little bit of civility and grace, hopefully, into the discussion. Then we can get back to the raunchy sex stuff later. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so the name of this poem is I Fuck Sluts.
Oh.
This is one I found.
Very elegant.
I did not write this, but I endorse it fully. I fuck sluts. Sluts. I fuck sluts. Sluts get fucked when I sluts. Oh my god. Sluts get fucked when I fuck sluts. No ifs, ands, or buts. I fuck sluts. Nice girls are nice, but no good for nut sucking. They'll need a serene night to greenlight a butt fucking. But that'll be easy with sleazy old slut fucking. Boo to the nice girls. Praise be to slut fucking. I have a list. A list? Yes, a list of all the sluts I've missed. I've never fucked or sucked these sluts, and thus my nuts are fucking pissed. So when I fuck the lucky slut, my nut removes her from the list. Another dumb cum bucket struck from my nut sucking slut fucking's bucket list. Whew, it's a mouthful, but you hear the influences, right? Like Chaucer, Robert Frost.
You shouldn't say it's a mouthful after reading that poem.
Oh no, I meant it. That's exactly what I meant to say. Sluts can be white, black, brown, pink, or almond. They can be skinny with big tits or skinny with small ones. Sluts can be perky, preppy, or posh with their brains in their clothes all shrunk from the wash. But other sluts are pretty and funny and smart. These sluts can lift all your thoughts from your dick to your heart.
Whoa.
They can talk about science, music, or art. They can put you together or they can pull you apart. But don't trust these sluts. Don't you dare. They'll force you to trust them and love them and care, and then they'll be gone, and then you'll be aware of that hole in your heart that dumb slut left there. Do you see the speaker in the poem had his heart broken, so he's lashing out with misogynistic language. You get it?
Very deep, very deep.
Well, I thought it was really beautiful, just eloquent, and I do want to say that. So that was a poem by Mr. Robert Burnham. That's in a collection of poems called Egghead. If you want to purchase that on Amazon, or I think it's on a comedy special called What that is available for free in entirety on YouTube if you'd like to see the original performance. There, I just wanted to say that so I don't feel guilty for stealing intellectual property.
My favorite line was whatever dig to my heart.
That's the turn. That's when it goes from just being crude and vulgar where you're like, oh wait. Yeah, it was the line was but other sluts are pretty and funny and smart. These sluts can lift all your thoughts from your dick to your heart. This was a very word dense. I've actually like read that through a couple times in preparation, and I still fucked it up.
Yeah,
that's okay. You got the gist. But yeah, you know what? We mentioned or I mentioned World War III Season 1
pilot episodes.
We're in the pilot. We're gonna see if it gets picked up or canceled. But we thought we would just give a little bit more context. Because perhaps some of our listeners don't know how batshit fucking insane Russia is just on a regular day. Mm-hmm. Doesn't even have to be on an invasion day. So I have regularly heard Russia compared to Florida. So we thought we were going to do a segment on Florida Man's alter ego, Russian Man.
Yeah. Russia Man. 10 more insane news stories from Russia. Let's start with the first. Should we do all 10? Let's do all 10. They're going to go quick if we don't.
Okay.
Number 10, stadium blasts dying bird noises to scare away birds.
I mean, that's the only possible
Jesus
way to go about it.
Holy moly. That's like not, what's that where they do like audible torture where like they play like, it's kind of doing the same thing to birds, playing dying bird noises.
I mean, but like, what is anyone living near that stadium, you're just trying to go to sleep,
Yeah.
and you just hear like dying birds blasting in your windows. That's almost as funny as Boise State. That's still the funniest. You're familiar with the whole Boise State saga?
No.
So they thought it would be a good idea to make their AstroTurf blue.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know the whole what story you're gonna read, but yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, it was, that was it. They're like, we're gonna be different.
Yeah.
We're gonna have blue AstroTurf, and the birds are like, oh yay, look, a lake. So
Yeah.
like, birds are just constantly dive bombing their stadium and murdering themselves.
Nice.
The birds are unaliving themselves.
If you think your neighbors are too loud, try living next to Gasper Marina. Residents flooded police departments with noise complaints after a new bird scaring system went live in the popular St. Petersburg Arena in June 2019. Reportedly, the system emitted sounds of dying birds and gunfire.
Oh, and gunfire.
Fuck.
Well, so that's probably fine because that doesn't really stand out from just the normal neighborhood noises in Russia. But
it probably puts people to sleep.
they're like, it reminds me of my childhood. It's calming. All right, what do we got next?
Number 9, former teacher kills friend who claimed that poetry is not real literature. He killed his friend.
That's only because he didn't hear "I fuck sluts" by
Yeah.
If he'd be like, "Oh, comrade, this is excellent poem."
Comrade, calm down. In early 2014, a 53-year-old man in Irbit, a town in Sverdlovsk region of Urals.
I think you just nailed all that. It's,
yeah.
I do know it's the Urals,
Sure.
but you just
Yeah.
your pronunciation on point. Continue.
Was charged with murder of another man, 67, said to have been a friend. They were drinking together in the friend's flat when he said only prose was real literature. According to the federal police in Russian region in Sverdlovsk, the host insisted that real literature is prose, while his guest, a former teacher, argued for poetry. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's pretty fucking gnarly.
Oh, he killed him with a knife. You know what? That's kind of poetic.
It is. Number 8. 2 drunk men cut off their ears for a bet.
It's the same. It's the same guys from the last story.
Americans do goofy things. They don't like. I've seen like dudes where get like breast implants for a bet, that kind of thing. Like, but cutting off an ears.
Dude, no, Russians are hardcore on a level that we just are not.
Yeah. Another odd news headline appeared in 2014 when 2 intoxicated men in a Siberian mining region cut off their own ears after betting on an arm wrestling contest.
Wait, but so why did they both cut off their ears?
Yeah, what the fuck?
It says. Oh, there you go. In the next paragraph, it explains.
One man won the first match, but his opponent insisted on a second round, which he won. Oh my god!
so it's the worst double or nothing ever.
That's fucking dumb.
He's like,
that wasn't double or nothing. That was like, hey, I already lost, because double or nothing would have meant
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
that's why it was the worst double or nothing. They didn't even understand the concept, and they both cut off their ears.
Number 7, naked cheesemakers take photos in a vat filled with milk, and the photos there for us to watch.
They look really happy. It actually looks like Habib and his boys taking a bath.
Dude, 4 dudes in a bathtub of milk, already a little suspect. And then the one guy's like showing, I don't know if there's underwear or what. That's kind of gross. Anyway, a group of cheesemakers celebrated the beginning of 2014 by swimming in the milk used for cheese processing. They posed and took pictures, which quickly went viral. Yeah, our job is really boring, the caption said. One man is even seen holding up his shorts for the camera. Their stunt may have caused some serious damage to the cheese industry in Omsk, a major Russian center for food processing. If you plan to buy string cheese the next time you go to the supermarket, you may want to check out that it wasn't made in Omsk.
You know what, though? I do want to commend those boys, because if you're going to get naked in a vat full of milk with your homies, you got to do it just completely balls bare. So and to prove it, he held up the shorts. So he's like, just so you guys know, we're not cheating and wearing shorts under this layer of milk. Here you go.
Yeah, but people don't eat string cheese from Omsk, Russia. Number 6, man fights off Siberian bear by biting its tongue off. What the fuck? Holy shit,
dude! Siberian bears are no joke either. Those are big sons of bitches.
In 2019, Nikolai Irgit, 30, and his 2 friends were collecting deer and moose antlers without the necessary permits in a forest reserve in the Tuva region. The antlers are used for making furniture as well as for medical purposes and often sold for a hefty price in the black market. The men split up to cover more ground deep in the forest.
Wait. Can I pause for a second?
Sure.
It says for medical purposes.
Yeah.
They just skimmed over that. You know what they use those for, right?
The deer antlers.
Uh-huh.
It's like a steroid, isn't it?
No, it's they're supposed to be like virility and like boner pills.
Ah, got it. I thought it was like wasn't that there's like a whole thing about deer antler spray or something? I don't know. Anyway, the men split up to cover more ground deep in the forest. Ygritte stumbled across a big brown bear weighing up to 600 kilos or 1,300 plus pounds. Siberian bears can rip an adult man apart. Ygritte tried to scare away the beast by screaming, but the bear charged at him and repeatedly bit his face and head, also injuring the man's hands and stomach. As the bear was snapping at his face, the man bit the bear's tongue off, scaring it away. Covered in blood, Ygritte called for help, and his friends arrived to call an ambulance. Blah blah blah. Holy shit!
I'm just amazed that he was able to make it out of a face-to-face conflict with the Russian man. I mean, that poor fucking bear. Like, he was so close to losing his life.
What is it? There's like a certain animal that like if it eats you, wants to eat you from your butthole first. Is that like a hyena?
I believe hyenas do that. I think coyotes might too, but
Like
hyenas definitely do.
They eat you from your butthole first.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's not as fun as it sounds, kids. Don't
No.
try it.
Yeah, don't do it. Number 5, clairvoyant purchases psychic cat for $84,000. An unusual news headline appeared at the start of 2017 when a clairvoyant bought a psychic cat in Russia. Dmitry, the cat's owner, inherited the cat from his aunt when she died. He claimed that the cat could suddenly appear from behind locked doors and use mind tricks to make Dmitry go shopping for the cat's favorite food in the middle of the night. This guy smokes a lot of weed. The owner reported that he hates fish and sausage, but the cat made him hungry for these foods. He would wake me up at 5 a.m., giving me a strong desire to eat fish or sausage, said Dmitry. So much so that I had to go out right then to buy it and give it to the cat. And as soon as the cat started to eat, my hunger disappeared. What the fuck? Labeled as a witch by local media, the woman paid 5 million rubles, around 84 grand for the cat, intending to put it to work in her seances. She is a clairvoyant and came with all her paraphernalia. She closed the cat in the room and then rapidly decided to buy it, Dmitry said. Wow. I want a psychic cat or a psychic dog. Number 4, cargo plane drops 3 tons of gold over Siberia. What? For a brief moment in March 15, 2018, the gray skies of Siberia will fill with gold. A Cold War era cargo aircraft took off from Yakutsk airport in Siberia, carrying an estimated $378 million in gold, platinum, and diamonds on behalf of a private mining company. During takeoff, the cargo hatch tore open and spilled nearly 200 gold bars.
Wait. You know, I have a Russia joke. You know, in America they say the stock market crashes. In Russia, stock market crashes on you.
All right.
See, because it like fell from the sky. It
Got it.
Fuck you, Mondo.
Most of the ingots immediately landed on the Yakutsk airport runway, but the plane continued flying for another 16 kilometers. I can't read. Which is approximately 10 miles, to make an emergency landing and drop more cargo along the way. A police spokesperson stated that nobody was injured and the treasure was recovered. Dang, that sucks. I would have kept one.
The local Russians were like, yes, we've recovered all 30 million of your gold for you.
Fuck that. I'd bury that shit. Nope, didn't see anything here. Number 3, Dagestan hopes sheep beauty queen contest. Gross. To celebrate the Muslim festival of sacrifice known as Eid al-Adha in Arabic and Kurban Bayram.
I don't know how that's pronounced, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say you were not even close.
I'm sure it wasn't. In the Russian and Turkic-speaking world, the city of Dagestan held a sheep beauty contest in August 2018. Considered as one of the holiest days in the Islamic calendar, Kurban Bayram, whatever, celebrates the willingness of Ibrahim to sacrifice his son on a command from God. The awarded owner of the winning sheep named Princess Aisha with a traditional handmade dagger. Pretty cool. I don't know.
But like, just to be clear, like we do have like livestock shows in the U.S. They are dressing the sheep up. I was trying to see. I'm like, are the sheeps wearing lipstick? Oh wait, no, this one is. Holy fuck!
No.
And there's
gross.
this one I'm looking at. It's got like beads around its neck. It's wearing a pair of sunglasses, and it has like this like pink like feather boa sort of like wrapped around its back and its
So
little antlers.
How does the winning sheep win? Like, is it like do they get the votes from the guys that like most guys want to fuck that goat? Like, is that how that works? Like,
I'm gonna say it's not sexual. Let's just, for the sake, I'm gonna say it's mostly not sexual.
yeah.
There's like, if there's a panel of 10 judges, I'm gonna say 8 of them are like, no, we're just purely aesthetics. It's not a sexual thing. And the other 2 are like, if you want my vote, I need the 20 minutes with sheep after competition, because they really are. Wait, I'll screenshot this one and send it to you, because they really, they're dressing them up quite a bit. Like,
all right.
there's some fucker in the history of Dagestan had a sheep fetish, and somehow he managed to link this to a religious festival.
Nice. Number 2, world chess president claims he was abducted and aliens invented chess. Kirsan Ilyusimov was the world chess president from 1995 to 2018, defeating the former world chess champion Garry Kasparov for the job. He was also the president of the Russian Republic of Kalmykia from 1993 to 2010. However, one unusual claim sets Ilyusimov apart from the average politician. He says that aliens wearing yellow spacesuits abducted him from the Moscow home in September 97. I'm going to read a quote from him. I was taken from my apartment in Moscow to the spaceship and went to some star, and after that I asked them, please bring me back. They are like people like us. They have the same mind and same vision. I talk with them, and I understand we are not alone in this whole world. We are not unique. Wow.
Well, you know what? That's reassuring.
My theory is that chess comes from space because it's the same rules, 64 squares, black and white, and the same rules in Japan and China and Qatar and Mongolia. Oh, come on. Idiot.
No, you know, I think he's right. That's the only logical explanation possible.
Oh
This guy figured it out.
Flat earther motherfucker. Anyway, number 1, bag of 54 severed human hands found in Siberia.
Oh, no.
A fisherman in Siberia made a grim discovery on March 2018. He was walking along the icy Amur River when he noticed a hand sticking out of the snow on a small island near the city of Khabarovsk. Jesus.
Those 2 guys who lost their ears had another bet that just got way out of hand. Mondo, get it?
Yeah.
It got way
out of hand. Uh-huh.
Because
the bag contained 27 pairs of human hands, severed at the wrist. Photos of the 54 hands lined up in neat rows quickly gained media attention, but according to the Russian government, it was not the work of a hand-obsessed killer. The biological objects, hands, found are not of criminal origin, but were disposed of in a manner not provided by for law.
What the fuck is it? Russia's just like, oh no, it's just hand, no problems.
Yeah. However, it is not known why the laboratory severed the hands in the first place. Yeah, like no big deal, nothing to see here. Crazy. And that was it for news from Russia, Florida man, Russia stories.
Mondo, what sound do 27 Russians clapping make?
I get it. Do you get it? Sorry, I had to take a tea break. That was it for the world of Russia. Fuck, I didn't realize until Aaron told me before the start of this podcast that that Russia is considered like a Florida of Europe. That it was like that fucked up.
Oh, it's crazier. Like, we had the story about the guy who stole the side-by-side and was trying to charge his ankle monitor.
Uh-huh.
In Russia, it would have been like a children's tricycle with a flamethrower on the front that he installed like a nitrous booster on the back.
Nice.
And was like burning down half a village. Like, Russians are absolutely batshit insane.
I don't know. I never knew that. Let's move on to the world of Reddit. Reddit question number 1. What was the worst crime a celebrity has committed and has seemingly been forgiven by the general public?
The one that popped up to mind first for me was Mike Tyson.
Tyson?
Yeah, because if you remember, I think he raped someone and then he beat his wife and he went to jail. And granted, like he definitely, he served his time in prison.
Don't forget, he also bit off fucking Evander Holyfield's ear in the middle of a fucking boxing match.
Dude,
the dude's just
Mike Tyson would have thrived in Russia. He's like, I don't even need a bet, fellas. I'll just bite those ears off whenever I want to.
Yeah, he did a 180.
And that's one where it's like, you know what, maybe I'm a little bit torn because he still definitely has some violent tendencies. Like he'll talk about it. He's like, oh, I can't fight because then like the bad man comes out. It's like, oh, okay, Mike Tyson. But I think the public in general is like, oh, well, he went to prison and he's trying to learn big words and it's kind of adorable because he has a lisp and we're not terrified of him anymore. So like, okay, all right, like we're down with this. And I to this day, I really would like to see his one-man show.
He has a one-man show. I know.
Yeah.
I know he has a weed farm in California somewhere where it's like a weed ranch. You can go and like, it's like a giant Airbnb, but with Mike Tyson's ranch stuff being there, and you smoke weed all day. I don't know.
He's got that. He's got a podcast, but no. On top of that, like
dude, Mike Tyson's Mysteries.
He had a one-man show, where he was like, he was touring, like he was on Broadway, like, and apparently it was really good. I believe it's called Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth, where he's just kind of telling stories and things from his life, which if you just based on the stuff that we know that's batshit insane, like there's got to be some crazy stories out there. Like this is a man who's like, yeah, I'm just going to buy some tigers.
Yeah.
I want tigers because I think they're pretty. It's like, okay.
He's a dude that like, yeah, everyone that's most everyone that's in MMA, like an athlete, like respect, like even though it's not the same sport, they're like they still revere Tyson and his accomplishments in the ring. It was just all the other outside the court shit that was like, oh man, this guy. It's like John Jones. Like you're just a fucking maybe like in 20 years, John Jones will be such a doucher and he'll be loved. But
see, I think the difference between those two, and this is why it's like maybe it is okay, like that Tyson is forgiven, is it seems like he just has a lot of demons and had a fucked up child and all that, but like he actually is trying to do right. Like he served his time. Like he is trying to move his life forward in productive ways. Like weed farms and and things like that. Whereas like I think John Jones is just a fucking sociopath and will never learn.
Yeah. I first when I got the question, I thought of O.J. Simpson because
Did we forgive him though?
He wasn't accused of killing his wife or whatever, which everyone is like, yeah, right, you fuck. Like back then it was like, yay, justice, a black guy didn't.
Well, he wasn't convicted.
Right.
He was accused for sure.
Right. But I mean, he definitely killed his wife. Everyone's just kind of like whatever. He got in trouble for other shit, got locked up. But he's like maintained, not that I follow him or not, but I know he's like maintained like a Twitter persona and like I think he might do YouTube. I don't know.
Well,
he does something.
He's been back in jail since then for grand theft.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, that was a very important cultural moment for America because that's when we learned you didn't just have to be a rich white man to beat murder charges. You just had to be a rich man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like if you're black and you have enough money, you too can beat murder raps. Like, huzzah! Like we've taken a step forward for equality.
The whole the glove. I remember thinking like, yeah, you believe what your parents believe, kind of growing up, and what the news feeds you a little bit. You're kind of naive, and back then it felt like, yay, we got away with what. You were on his side back then, and then you're like, oh no, you're fucked up criminal. You do a lot of other stupid shit, but he's still kind of relatively like, it's to the point where no one looks at O.J. Simpson like, oh my god, he's a murderer. It's like he's a.
Oh no, I think a lot of people do look at him like that.
He's a caricature. He's a killer, but he's a caricature killer. He's kind of like, eh.
And then he released his book, If I Did It.
Yeah.
This is how I would have done it. It's like, well, OJ, maybe you should have read your book before you did this crime.
Some of the answers on Reddit. User QB Nath writes, Marcos Alonso, Chelsea footballer, drove drunk, speeding, crashed, and killed a young woman. He got suspended, sentenced, a small fine, and a short driving ban. There's a reason rival football fans chant Marcos Alonso. You know what you did. You know what? That reminds me of Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, whatever the fuck her name is, Caitlyn's
Yeah, she killed someone.
yeah, what the fuck? It's like, and then the very next year is like Woman of the Year. It's like, did everybody forget this bitch or guy, dude, whatever, killed
bitch.
Yeah.
Come on,
Killed somebody and got away with it, and like no one ever heard of it since. No one, like, you don't hear anything.
Yeah, there's that whole thing of like, it's like, oh, she's a bad bitch. Caitlyn Jenner's like, okay, I just did the surgery. Let's lean into it hard. Like, no, Caitlyn, that's not that's not what we meant.
User GamerChick94 writes, Jesus, 90% of these are sexual assaults against teenage girls. That's so fucked up. They're referring to the other answers, I guess.
Yeah, for a second I was like, wait, what? What did Jesus do?
Yeah. Like, let's see. That was a dumb. User Ovays writes, Steven Tyler convinced the parents of a 14-year-old groupie to sign over her guardian rights to him, essentially adopting her and then dating her at the same time. But wait, there's more. He eventually gets the girl pregnant and then forces her to get an abortion. I don't know if any criminal action was taken against him, but it's all super messed up. I've also been told that she was 16 years old and not 14. I've since Googled it and seen both ages listed several places, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know that. Steven Tyler, like, raped somebody?
Yeah, man, there's seems like a lot of that went around. I mean, there's the Kobe thing, too. That one seems a little bit less cut and dry as some of them. I mean, he was definitely cheating on his wife, like 100%.
Yeah.
And then there was a question of whether or not it was sexual assault, and that story definitely got a little bit more muddied. But yeah, let's move on from this one.
All right, that's enough for that first question. Right, question number 2. Excuse me. With the 2020s going down in history as the roaring what the fucks, what event wouldn't surprise you if it were to happen now?
Do you have one?
Yes, but it's kind of already, like, I don't know. It's already out, so it's not an original one.
Okay.
But the fact that aliens exist, like there was this last year, like a bunch of stuff came out. The government was like, UFOs exist, but like no one ever bothered to dig further. Like, okay, what do we know? Like, share. But yeah, if we found out that aliens were like a legit thing, that would be a fucking, like, if the government produced rock solid evidence for the public to like see, like, oh shit, and then everyone, like the humanity 100% was on board. Oh fuck, aliens do exist. That would be a kind of a surprise, but not really, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if it like a major country just completely collapses.
Like economically?
Yeah, like they're probably somewhere like particularly like in the southern hemisphere where like all of a sudden like they just can't get enough water, or like I feel like there's some countries that are still first world countries, but they're just like right at that line where if one thing goes really south, whether it's with their food production or their water supply or like their economy, like they're just going to be completely fucked. And I never thought that we were that close to collapse in some areas, but like during COVID, it's like, oh no, like
yeah,
our hospital system is so fragile where if there's just this sudden influx of people, like our whole healthcare infrastructure would collapse. And we're comparatively well off with stuff like that, you know, to a lot of countries. And like the one that does kind of pop into mind, which is Mexico, where it's at least there was always that joke, like when we were in college in California, where it's like, oh, if you go to Mexico, like don't drink the water, haha, right? And you don't really think about it. It's like, oh, only 40% of Mexico's population has clean drinking water. It's like, well, what if something dips that down to like 20%? Like, what's gonna happen to that country?
Yeah.
So I'm not rooting for complete like global collapse of a major country, but I would not be surprised to see that happen.
Yeah, it can happen. It just has, like you said, how as sensitive as our economy was to something that big, the pandemic, like other countries that are just ill-equipped can get really fucked with something like that, or a war. Like right now that Ukraine and Russia, like you're joking about World War III, but if something were to happen,
no, I'm not joking.
Right.
I mean this very literally. This is how World War II started.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. If something else happens that can just lead to major catastrophe globally. You know.
Oh, the other part. Wait, I can't figure what it's called now. It is insane. There's this book that some like Russian like political theorist published that like outlines a game plan of like how Russia becomes like the Soviet Empire and takes over the world.
Oh shit.
And apparently it's not just like, oh, it's some crazy guy that published a book. Like apparently like the oligarchs and Putin are really interested and have been following this book's game plan. And you read some of the stuff in it, you're like, holy fuck, like this is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like they think they basically said like, oh, they need to start by taking Ukraine and then they take Finland. And while that's happening, the like they just need to like destabilize our country and like foment I forget how they put it. They're like anti Africa, but they were basically saying like stoke racism in our country, but they said it in a very Russian way. and that like Britain or England is just like a it was all this political language, but it's basically just like a non-continental like base for us basically. So don't even try to do anything with them. Just like find a way to break England off from the European Union. I'm like, holy shit, they're doing all of it. Oh no, Russia's gonna take over the world.
That was it. Or let's read some of the answers on Reddit. User Satin Melanafi. Contact with aliens, except it's not from the above, but from the oceans, like a B movie. Huh.
Oh, okay. So Aquaman's real. Got it.
Aquaman. There are some weird squids that could do some crazy shit. User Cliver LOL. Influencers going in Ukraine to film themselves on the battlefield. I don't know why, but I see it coming. Like, selfie! Dog ears on Putin. User no_owl8236. If we, the world, ran out of a very specific food like apples, peanuts, etc.
Oh, for sure. That's going to happen probably.
Well, I heard a little blurb on some other podcast, I forget which one, about how like most of the world's avocados come from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that like now like there's like the same drug lords are like fucking like going after the avocado market. You gotta hire hitmen to like.
I don't think you can smuggle avocados into the U.S. in your buttholes. It's not gonna work.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
That is gonna be the rankest guacamole in the history of the world.
I love avocados.
You like butthole guacamole?
I would eat butthole. Dude, if there's just think about it. Like whatever your most beloved food decided to go like extinct, you're like, then they become like in that movie Zombieland where they're like Twinkies was like one guy's hitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had the one food that was like almost non-existent, you're like, you do anything for it. Like, oh, that was smuggled out of your beehole. Avocado toast for breakfast. Ooh.
Yeah, well, that's the fucked up thing about climate change. It's like we can just adapt to temperatures, but you know, plants and fruit like can't just sweat and you know cool themselves down a little bit. There is a lot of bioengineering work going on where they're trying to make drought-resistant crops and plants and fruit and all this stuff. But yeah, if it doesn't come quick enough, Mono, you just might not have any avocados.
Damn it. Oh, butthole avocado.
You know, and you know what? You won't have avocados, and like the 140 some odd million people in Mexico won't have water to drink. And I don't know who has it worse. It's one of you two, and I feel for both of you. I think your pain is equal.
Dude, my guacamole is awesome. Yep, I said it. Anyway, that was it for Reddit. And we are now going to, Aaron and I, we've been talking about renaming new on Netflix. Since a lot of times the shows we watch are on Netflix, they're on Apple TV or whatever, Hulu. But we also want to take the time to mix things up and do movie reviews here and there. So for now, we're going to call this shit binge-worthy. But we might change it to something else. So
we're trying it out. We don't know if it's a permanent thing, but for now, we're going to do our segment binge worthy. And today,
and if you're a listener and you have a suggestion for a name, shoot us a message with it.
or don't.
You can send it to me. I'll listen.
But today we're reviewing the movie Kimi on HBO Max. Kimi is an adaptation of the classic Alfred Hitchcock film Rear Window, in which a wheelchair-bound Jimmy Stewart, wait, I'm going to see if I can do a Jimmy Stewart impression. Jimmy Stewart witnesses a potential murder out of his back window. oh no, I'm in a wheelchair, but I need to solve a murder. Like
Dude,
that
can
was
I
Jimmy Stewart. That was
can I-
pretty close.
Can I just tell you that your Jimmy Stewart sounds a lot like your Nicolas Cage impression?
I mean, they're the same person. If you didn't know that. And where was I? But in Kimi, director Steven Soderbergh was like, okay, what if instead of the affable Jimmy Stewart, I make every character in the movie just deeply unlikable? Steven, are you sure that's a good idea? Oh, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to have Zoe Kravitz walk around in her underwear constantly. Oh, perfect. That'll definitely work. And you know what, listening audience? It did. At least for me. Did that work for you, Mondo? It worked for me.
Side tit, whatever. That's kind of nice.
So, yeah, Zoe Kravitz plays Angela Childs, a tech worker who's tasked with resolving user misunderstandings with the smart device Kimi, who's basically Siri's older, nosier aunt. Like, every time Kimi doesn't understand someone's request, Angela has to listen to the interaction, then manually update it, which I found to be the most horrifying part of the movie. Like, one, I would slip my wrist with a broken glass from an iPad mini a week after that job started. And two, if I'm being honest, I may have called Siri a cunt more than once.
Yeah, like that just the premise of it, like that job. Do you think that job has to really exist though, right?
No,
Like,
I don't think so. Like, so it just isn't scalable, because if you're trying to have product like that would have hundreds of millions of users, like you can't have people going through all the interactions. Like, it just isn't going to work. You need to do it like Siri, where there's just an algorithm that is going to learn and adapt.
So like where there's no actual human interaction, but it's like a robot picking keywords and
yeah. Exactly. And I think at some point the algorithms will get smarter. Like I know with Siri, like you can teach Siri who you are, because there's a thing where it's like she's like, oh, I don't know who you are, and then you can assign yourself in the context, and then it'll start referring to you by name. I'm like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Siri's learning. This is we thought it was gonna be Skynet. No, it's just gonna be our iPhones that take over and kill us. But yeah, it's during one of these call reviews that Angela hears a potential murder. The only problem is she's a heavily medicated agoraphobe who hasn't left her wildly unaffordable Seattle loft since before COVID.
yeah.
That was the most unrealistic part of the whole thing.
because the job she holds is probably not a high paying job.
That is
and
a
then she's
$10 an hour job tops.
But somehow she affords this fucking massive apartment loft thing. It was fucking super nice.
So since she can't leave her really super nice loft, she enlists the aid of a Russian troll farm hacker and her sometimes booty call to solve the crime. Frankly, I thought the booty call going up when she texted him, despite how she treats him, was probably the most realistic part of the movie.
Oh yeah,
where like she is just a raging bitch, and he's like, nope, no, I'm down for this. Then eventually Angela has to face her fears and venture into the outside world, all while relearning how to walk and run like a normal human being. Because there was parts where she's out there, and it kind of made sense when she's walking through a crowd and she's like hugging a wall and she's doing this sort of like stiff, like mechanical walk. I'm like, that makes sense with her phobia and sort of mental health issues. But then she does that same thing when she's trying to run for her life, and I was like, oh, okay, this is just comical now.
Yeah.
As far as acting performances, I think it pretty much begins and ends with Zoe Kravitz. I believe she did a really excellent job playing the role Soderbergh wanted, but it was an interesting directing choice on his part. Like, it is possible to suffer from mental health problems, but not be an asshole all the time to literally everyone.
Yeah.
Also, based on the backstory they gave Angela, it would have made more sense if she had that demeanor specifically towards men. But no, she just takes a massive dump on everyone she comes into contact with. And after watching an interaction where she repeated the same thing over and over again until she got her way, I was like, oh no, this is the second piece of media in a row we've watched where they accidentally made the main character autistic. Because that is one where I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, yeah, like I get it. She's supposed to be like prickly. That's how they refer to her in the synopsis on like IMDb. But I'm like, this is beyond prickly. Like, she's just taking everything super literally and just repeating it over and over again until people give in. But as far as the rest of the movie goes, the plot was definitely a little janky for a movie that did seem to lean towards realism. And the writing was solid, if not inspired. However, I thought Soderbergh knocked it out of the park when it came to cinematography, especially the parts where Zoe Kravitz was walking around in her underwear. And
Stupid.
I mean, just the lighting and the camera angles were just, it was just high art. Like that side boob just hit perfect. And that's how you could tell he was a master director. And the pacing was also fast and fun, even for a movie with a lean 1 hour and 29-minute runtime. So, in conclusion, if you're looking for a movie that gives a nuanced depiction of someone struggling with mental health issues, or a detective flick with a clever, intricate plot, this movie's probably a hard pass for you. But if you're looking for a fun thriller where you get to watch a blue-haired Zoe Kravitz talk shit to people like she's a New York cab driver on nicotine withdrawal, then this is for you. I give it a bad bitch 7 out of 10 stars.
I give it only like a 5 or 5.5. I thought I liked it. I liked more that it was a different, or it's like a story I've heard and seen before, but they did it different with the twist of like the whole like we have Alexa and Siri and all these things constantly monitoring us, even when we think we're not. It's always listening to us, and I thought it was an interesting like twist on that, using that technology thing and like a murder mystery based on what this.
Well, have you seen the original Rear Window?
No.
I think that movie probably still holds up, and that's old. That's like an old Alfred Hitchcock movie, and there's been so many sort of adaptations and takeoffs of that. I mean, so Soderbergh directly referenced this Rear Window movie and was talking about this, but it's like Jimmy Stewart has like broke his leg and he's sort of stuck in the second floor of his house, and he's like just looking out the window in his neighborhood because this was like before internet and Netflix and whatnot. And he sees what he thinks was a murder, and then he's trying to. So this whole thing plays out from like him looking through his window. So it's very, very similar, but I don't know, man. I think this is one where it's like if you just didn't really try to take it too seriously and didn't think about any of it, I'm like, this was fun. It was fast. It felt like a really good episode of like a TV show or something.
Yeah. If it was a TV show, I think it'd rate higher, but because it was a movie, I was expecting it to be a little more. I don't know, other things. The Zoe Kravitz character, yeah, she annoyed me. Like, she annoyed the shit out of me and how she behaved. And it was like, oh, yeah, you know what? This is how a lot of women behave. Even without agoraphobia and all this other shit. Like, a lot of chicks could just...
Well, yeah, except it was, like, turned up to 11 in her case. And that's the thing. I think that would have been fine if they gave her just a little bit more depth. Where, like... she's sort of struggling with that, like, because you do find out, like, oh, like she had something happen to her in her past, like she went through a trauma, but so if there's moments of sort of vulnerability, or like you can kind of see her struggling with trying to not take that trauma out on people around her, but it's like there's none of that. She's just like full forward, like, fuck you, like, I hate everybody. It's like, whoa, okay.
My favorite thing of the movie was, the neighbor that kind of goes and rescues her kind of at the end. That actor, I was like, that fucking guy looks familiar. Who the fuck is that guy? That's the guy that plays the older brother in Home Alone. You know, the bully older brother that, I forget his name, the character.
I want to say Chet or something like that.
Sure, Chet or whatever. But the older brother in Home Alone, that's like a bully to Macaulay Culkin's character.
That had the tarantula.
Yeah. That older brother is that actor plays the neighbor at the end. Okay. I was like, oh, I know that guy. I had to look it up and see like why he looked familiar to me.
I'm trying to find out his name now. It's going to drive me nuts.
I actually heard something about that guy. I think that guy's been
Buzz McAllister.
Buzz. I actually heard that actor got into some like serious legal shit not too long ago. I don't know if it was before the filming of this movie or like during the filming of this movie, but something like pretty serious, like beating his wife or beating. I don't know. Something pretty fucked up. I don't want to take the time to look it up.
Actor who played older brother in Home Alone arrested in Oklahoma.
There you
go. Surrendered to authorities in Oklahoma on Wednesday after he was accused of assaulting his girlfriend.
Yeah, there you go.
So he was just like method acting for this movie. He's just doing research, man. Like, come on. He's really dedicated.
Yeah.
Assaults on women are always funny.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Stupid women.
They're not. That was just to be clear, that was sarcastic. They're not funny. But all that being said, I would have liked to see a little bit more nuance in the character as she struggled with the ramifications of that assault.
Physical abuse towards women can be funny during the run.
Wow, Mondo's just doubling down on it. He's like, no, fuck you.
During the right circumstances, a woman getting beat up can be pretty fucking funny. Like you have to see like the cat fight videos where chicks get into it and they're like none of them are nice girls. They're both fucking catty and bitchy, and they get into it. You're like, ha, violence. I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking by it.
The views of Armando Ramirez do not necessarily represent the views of this podcast or Aaron Jaffe. These are Armando Ramirez's views solely and exclusively.
It's funny.
Just sorry,
World Star.
I'm gonna pre-record one of those disclaimers for future use.
Yeah. Just press a button.
I just play.
World Star.
Oh, good Lord. So it sounds like I enjoyed it a little bit more than you did, but I kind of went in with no expectations.
Yeah.
I watched it last night when I was really tired. I'm like, oh, that was kind of fun. Like, I think if you just want something quick and fun to watch, this is well worth it.
Yeah. It's a pretty damn new movie, and it didn't, I didn't see it highly marketed in the theaters or whenever it came out.
Well, it's not. It's just only streaming.
So there you go. So, but even then, like you think like they'd put like some kind of commercials or whatever, marketing for it, and I didn't see anything about it. It just came across like my my streaming device, and I was like, oh, new movie. Yeah, it was okay. It was worth the watch. Like I said, it wasn't. I didn't even, aside from the whole Alexa thing, I didn't really have any idea what the movie was about. But that was it for. I was about to call it new on Netflix. That was it for binge-worthy or whatever whatever the hell we're gonna call this segment.
That's the name of it. It's binge-worthy with whatever we're gonna call this.
Yeah.
That's the official title.
You don't see. I can
trademarked.
I can edit that out in the audio segment so that people don't hear that. So, touche to you.
Touche to you too, Mondo.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add to this episode?
Just a couple of things.
Sure.
Thing one is it's funny. I just had a couple of like little weird COVID interactions.
Recently?
Yeah. Well, like the first one was so I like my neck is still fucked up. It's been weeks now. So I went to someone to try to work on it, and like just like a manual practitioner. It's something called cranial sacral therapy. I'm not gonna try to explain that whole thing, but it's something I've had before that worked, but I've never gone to one of those practitioners in Colorado, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go try it. I went to this lady once, and I was like, oh, she's a little like woo for me. Like she's like, oh, like your inner physician is gonna tell me what I need to do. I was like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. And then I thought, you know what? Let me give it one more shot with her and see how it goes. And I we made it 5 minutes into the thing. Like I hadn't even like sat down and she hadn't worked on anything, and she was telling me about like how I needed to use a special sort of like pillow for my hip. And I was like, yeah, look, I've been doing this for 23 years. Like, calm the fuck down. And then she's like, oh, right, but there's this other thing I had to tell you about. And I'm just like, okay. And she's like, yeah, so I want to tell you about ginger oil. It's very important because, I had both vaccines, and then I got COVID, and then when I knew it was in my body, I could feel it, but I took ginger oil and it protected me. And I was like,
she was saying that she felt she got COVID and she felt it in her. Is that what she said?
She felt the COVID in her, and then she took ginger oil and it protected her from the COVID. And I was just exactly. I was a little confused, so I was like, before I rush to judgment, let me back up. And I was like, okay, just to be clear, why am I supposed to take the ginger oil? Why do you want me to take it? She's like, so you can be protected from COVID. And I was like,
she just cares about you, dude.
And
ginger oil.
This was the funniest part. I was like, she literally said that, and I just like take like a beat. Like there's like a long like pregnant pause, and I'm like, you know what? I just remember there's something I really urgently have to get to. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go. And she's like, oh, what? Do you want to reschedule? And I'm like, Nope, don't need to reschedule.
Oh, you did it? You did it like just like that, huh?
Yep. And I'm like, and I was like, look, I'm gonna pay you for the visit, but no, don't you don't need to email me or call me. We're good. And she's like, okay, well, so just so the next time when you come back, I'll give you a discount. I was like, what the fuck? Are you not getting it? And I mean, the nice part is the CDC has said that like they think it's safe to not wear masks in most public places now. which I take what the CDC says with a grain of salt, like both ways. And my plan was always just to wait until we kind of hit spring, because COVID is not as seasonal as the flu is, but it's still a little bit seasonal, right? Like the numbers in the summer went way down. Like we've just got a lot of evidence for that. I mean, and most prior COVID viruses were also seasonal. So I was just going to wait until spring, and then hopefully at that point just like not worry about masks again. But I went into the grocery store right before I came here because I just wanted to grab lunch, and like no one was wearing a mask. And I kind of had the thought of like, am I being too uptight? Am I feeling a little peer pressure? Like maybe I don't need to wear the mask. And then literally like I'm walking down an aisle, and there's a lady holding it was like a soda in one hand. She's holding her phone in the other hand on speakerphone, talking loudly. And then, like, right as I pass her, she coughs, like, right in my face. And I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm sticking to my plan. I don't give a shit if I'm the only one at the grocery store wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about physically wearing a mask, but that was the one where I was like, Jesus Christ. People are still dumb motherfuckers. I'm sticking to original plan of springtime.
Yeah, like here locally, like we had the mask mandate, then it went away, then it came back again and went away. It seems like it's kind of a month-to-month thing that it changes. But yeah, they lifted the mask thing, and I still see, even though because all these businesses still have the signs that say, it is recommended to wear a mask. They don't want to say it's required. They'll say recommended for those people that are not fully vaccinated to wear a mask. And I'll see, like, because I go out and about quite a bit, not like every day, but like for work, just go to a fast food place or whatever. But yeah, I'd say like 1 in 10 people that are out in public are still wearing the mask, whether or not they're being mandated to. They're still wearing it.
It really depends on where you go, though, because if you go to like a natural grocers, I would bet Whole Foods is the same way. It's going to be like 70% of people.
Yeah. The more affluent people are probably, yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of on par with what you would think. Like, people from Florida don't give two fucks. They're out there partying without masks and all this shit, and people like in
survival and finish, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have my natural immune system, which has been ravaged by cancer from years of cigarette smoking, combat this virus. Oh man, that is out of all the subreddits I've ever seen, the most fucked up one where I was like, oh no, I can't even do this. There is a subreddit called the Herman Cain Awards.
Okay.
Are you familiar with who Herman Cain was? A big sort of anti-vaxxer, like Republican politician who went to a Donald Trump rally and then died of COVID that he caught at the rally.
Nice.
And so but this subreddit, it's like basically what they do is they will find people who usually it's anti-vaxxers and people who don't want to wear masks, and like they will collect like sort of a history of their social media posts up to and through the point where the person catches COVID and then dies. And it's like at first like you're kind of reading like, oh, this fucking idiot, and they're like, oh no, like they died and like left 2 orphan children. Fuck. Like to me, something about it just feels fucked up because people in the comment section are just like going in on them. I'm like, yeah, but like, were they fucking idiots? Probably, yeah. But like, dude, they died.
They're celebrating somebody's death, and which is a weird thing to do and that happens because of. It just happens because of the people's opinions. They want to share them in politics, and they want to be right, and they don't want to be. They want the other person to be wrong. They want them to be right, and it sucks that somebody dies, and then people are celebrating a person's death. It's like that's kind of.
Well, it's like part of me empathizes. Have you ever gone down the conservative Facebook rabbit hole?
No,
Dude,
I don't. Internet and me, I don't do that.
I was just curious, man. It's like a different world in there. It's like up is down, left is right. Like, and there's people where I'm like, wow, if you're really dumb and you hadn't done any research, like this would be an extremely convincing argument. And if like you're getting that from all sides and like everybody that you know is sort of in on it. I mean, same thing. Like I had my mask plan, and then I go in the grocery store, and I'm thinking, oh, you know what? Like I'm like the 1 in 10 person wearing one right now. Am I being oversensitive? And like, It took 20 seconds for me to think that.
I think COVID, as as big or little of a thing it was, however you want to see COVID, people are still just as fucking gross as before. Like, people that were gross before are still going to be gross. Like, it didn't change their habit. They know, like, washing your hands after you go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, like you said, just coughing. Like, you're told as a toddler, cover your mouth when you fucking cough or you sneeze. Like, you're told when you're a little kid, do this. That's gross. Don't fucking get your germs everywhere. And you have adults that just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna be a gross person.
Yeah, we're probably all fucked. There was another Reddit question where it's like, where's the moment where you lost faith in humanity or you knew humanity was fucked? I'm like, man, you're like,
Aaron's like Tuesday was another one of them.
it's like, when isn't that moment happening these days? There's COVID. There's World War III. And no avocados. That's the one. You know what? I can deal with the zombie apocalypse. I can deal with mass war. But man, no avocados. I don't want to live in that world.
Neither do I. Fuck that world. I got tickets. I wanted to add a tiny little thingy. I got a ticket to go see Gary Clark Jr. Performing at Red Rocks in April or May. I forget what day it is. And his opening band is Duran Jones and the Implications or the something. Dude, I'm so stoked for this concert. I wanted to get some of my coworkers to go with me, but they all flaked out. They're all being vaginas. So I was like, fuck it. I don't give two fucks. I've been wanting to see Gary Clark Jr. The tickets weren't that bad. I'm so excited to get an opportunity to see him live. Thanks to my friend Victor for pointing it out that he was playing, because the second it was announced that tickets were on sale, he's like, hey, check this out. He knew I was a fan, so thank you, Victor.
Shout out to Victor. This episode of Degenerates Clubhouse has been brought to you by Victor.
Yeah.
He's not a financial or monetary sponsor in any way, but like he's just sending good vibes our way. So thank you, Victor.
Also, special good vibe shout outs to Eric Hecox and Moni Hecox. They watch our podcast and they watched our last one and they made fun of, I forget what we were talking about, where he commented on my Instagram and was like, dude, your shit's funny. They appreciate our dumb humor. So thanks for watching, guys.
They're men of intellect and culture. Thank you, Hecoxes.
Husband and wife. You said men.
Oh, I didn't catch the first names. They're people. They're individuals. They're connoisseurs of internet intellect and culture. Thank you.
Do you have anything else to add?
You know what? I just assumed if they liked our humor, they were both dumb guys.
Oh no.
That's what happened. Sorry, my bad.
You never know. We have women, people watching us that are women. Not a lot. Like my mom, she counts.
I don't know.
Hi, Mom.
Actually.
Anyway, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, that was it.
Oh, I did have to. Not everybody knows this in Degenerate Land. Uncle Armando won $1,200 on the Super Bowl. That's it. I just want to say that I won $1,200 on the football squares, and I bought a grill for our shop. I won money. It was great.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Thanks for watching the episode on Twitch or YouTube. Thanks for listening to us on all the other stuff. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And send us your comments. Send us your whatever shit. And if you have a working title or a better title than Binge-worthy for the entertainment show that we do.
I think it's a really good title. I'm just afraid that probably someone else has used that somewhere. Although it's not like New on Netflix was the most original title either.
Yeah. So if you have a suggestion, you can email it to us or chat with us somewhere or send us a whatever. Contact us on all of our social shit and let us know what you think. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye-bye.